some things that have been granted in the way of subsidies, for instance, in the energy side, certain things that have been given out going into these elections. Will those be pared back immediately after the outcome?
Well, on the whole fiscal position, in Indonesia we have the fiscal responsibility rule, which is already institutionalized. In the past 15 years, we are always able to control the deficit below 3%, that is the maximum level of deficit allowed by our law. We also reducing the debt, government debt to the GDP, now at the level of 30%. In the subsidy policy, on a fuel subsidy, we reduce from the previously most commodity in the fuel has been subsidized. Now it's only solar. So we are going to continue improving what we call it the targeted subsidy. This is what we improve from the social safety net program which the government conducted in the past 4 years. So we are targeted real poor family and we provide them with a cash transfer rather than providing a general subsidy. I think this is really the direction of the policy that the government is trying to do and will continue to do. The best thing about this is that you are reducing poverty without creating a threat for the fiscal sustainability.
Now, last week, Bank Indonesia held rates on hold. We saw a similar move by the Federal Reserve. Now, with this abrupt shift in policy, because Indonesia was amongst the most aggressive last year, we had, six rate hikes? Seven rate hikes in almost as many months, right? Do you think that this move by the Fed will spur other Asian economies, including yourself, to basically open the door for rate cuts this year?
Well, first, we really welcome that the increasing rate by the Federal Reserve is not continue. At least pause and patient. That is the two words which is actually relieving the pressure for many emerging countries in the world. And why this is important? Because then you see, without even changing the fundamental of our economy, we suffer from the capital outflow, and that's create quite a lot of the depreciation of the currency, then create also a certain confidence problem. Although fundamental of the economy in many of the countries, including in Indonesia, is actually the same. So for us in this case, this is an opportunity to actually accelerate the growth. But we really have to be very careful because this pausing the increasing rate is also showing that the global economic environment is not good. Yep. So we really have to be very careful in seeing this signal. And for Indonesia, because we are big enough emerging country, we have to focus on our domestic demand in order for us to make sure that when environment of the global economy is becoming very weak, then we still can sustain our momentum of growth.
And as you say, I mean, those concerns about the global growth picture is what we saw in the markets on Friday, a move out of risk assets. Do you worry that the rupiah is still vulnerable today?
Well, we are addressing the issue of balance of payment. During the 2018, which is not an easy time, in which the Federal Reserve increasing interest rate, Bank Indonesia responding, we really focus and working very closely between monetary authority and fiscal as well as economic policy maker in order for us to maximize our policy mix. So Bank Indonesia have to adjust the rate. That is what they need to do in order for them to address the issue of relative interest rate as well as confidence. We on the fiscal side have to make sure that our fiscal deficit is not going to trigger confidence problem. And then on the real sector economy, we're deepening our reform. We conducted ease of doing business, one single submission. We're addressing the issue of infrastructure. So we really work as a team in order for us to be able to use our policy mix when the environment is not good. So we are going to do the same thing in 2019 with a different environment that we are now facing. But we will always find what is the right instrument in order for us to be addressed the issue fundamentally important for us, like competitiveness, productivity, labor, in this case, quality. So we address those issues using all the instruments, whether this is structural policy reform as well as fiscal policy. And then Bank Indonesia have to focus on stability and confidence, especially on the monetary side. So we always continue coordinating among our policymakers. I think that's what makes Indonesia different from other emerging countries when we respond with a very pragmatic but determination which gain us a confidence.
Finance Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for speaking to CNBC.